As the conflict rages on between Israel and Hamas, Russia is waging a major new offensive in eastern Ukraine. It's Russia's biggest offensive since last winter as troops try to encircle a strategic city. ABC News' Patrick Revel is in Kyiv with the latest on that. Patrick, what are you hearing right now?
Yeah, hi Diane. With the world's attention glued on Israel and Gaza, Russia has been waging its biggest offensive since last winter. It's focused on the strategic city of Avdiivka and further north up to Kupiansk in eastern Ukraine. And we've seen basically thousands of Russian troops and hundreds of Russian tanks and armored vehicles launch an onslaught for the past 6 days onto these cities. And really, I think the scale of this offensive does show that the Kremlin right now is trying to turn the tide after months of defending against Ukraine's counteroffensive. But what we are hearing is that Ukrainian forces are inflicting very heavy casualties on Russia in these frontal assaults. We're seeing videos that seem to show dozens of Russian armored vehicles being destroyed. Ukraine claims that thousands of Russian soldiers have been killed in just the last 6 days. Because of the scale of the losses, supposedly the intensity of the assault has drawn back somewhat today. But they expect this assault to keep continuing. And it is obviously remarkable that we're talking about now Russia on the offensive when we've been talking for months about Ukraine's counteroffensive and its hopes to try and have a victory in this war.
Patrick, we're getting reports that Russian President Vladimir Putin will discuss the war between Israel and Hamas in a telephone conversation with several regional leaders. What are you hearing about those conversations?
Yeah, the Kremlin says that Vladimir Putin is supposed to have calls with 5 leaders, including from Egypt, as well as with Benjamin Netanyahu and the leader of the Palestinian Authority, Mahmoud Abbas. We know as well that he's already had a call with Iran's president. In that call, according to the Kremlin, the president of Iran said that if Israel continues the siege of Gaza, that could lead to a large-scale military confrontation, which seems again to be this threat coming from Iran that potentially it could become involved somehow if the ground offensive from Israel is to go ahead. I mean, the Kremlin itself is continuing to repeat its position, which is there should be an immediate ceasefire. And basically, the Kremlin is trying to balance this difficult line where it has a very close relationship that's become even closer with Iran because of the war here in Ukraine, where Iran has been providing weapons, but also it doesn't want to spoil its relations with Israel. And so right now, we can see that Putin's trying to position Russia as a mediator, but he doesn't really have that much influence at the moment.
Now, is the timing coincidental here of this Russian offensive, or is this linked to the Israel-Hamas war? Is Putin trying to exploit what's happening in Gaza to his advantage?
You know, I think that's a very good question. I think it would be unlikely that the exact timing of this offensive is directly linked to what's happening in Gaza, simply because this is a very large operation that must have taken a lot of planning and preparation. But, you know, what's without question is that the crisis in Gaza is most definitely an opportunity for Vladimir Putin, because it pulls the world's attention from Ukraine onto Israel. And that easily plays into the Kremlin's plan for Ukraine and its best hope at the moment that Western support will fade and that it will eventually leave Ukraine face to face with Russia. And that is essentially the Kremlin's plan right now, is to try and just continue waiting out the West. And so obviously, with the world's attention diverted onto Israel, that's good news for Vladimir Putin.
All right, Patrick Revel in Kyiv. Patrick, thank you.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.